According to the setting of Swallowed Star, as long as one possesses sufficient wealth, it is indeed possible to forcibly elevate a cultivator to the universe level through external means, such as using an E-grade nutrition chamber to promote bodily evolution to the universe level. However, this method is not only extremely costly but can also damage the cultivator's foundation, causing them to be trapped forever at the universe level without any further progress. It should be noted that to break through beyond the universe level, comprehension of the laws is an indispensable key. Only by fully mastering a lower law can one break the shackles of the life core and step into the immortal realm. If one wishes to go even further and become a Universe Venerable, there is likewise no shortcut. The cultivator must completely master one of the upper laws, either the original law of space or the original law of time, in order to invoke the descent of the origin of laws, achieve divine power transformation, and thus become a Universe Venerable possessing a purer, more refined immortal divine power. At this point, the limit of the divine body will reach a magnitude hundreds of times greater than before the breakthrough. Today, let us explore the ranks of power above the immortal level. Although the novel and animation relatively clearly state the grand realms of many characters, the divisions at smaller sublevels are often vague, making it difficult to accurately judge the true power level of the characters. Despite the somewhat ambiguous descriptions of minor sublevels in the novel and animation, we can still infer certain characters' real strengths through the details. First, let us explore together the specific realm sublevel of Venerable Nine Swords. We can start by comparing with the immortal level Zerg Queen. As I mentioned earlier, the Zerg Queen, whose life gene level is higher than that of the Golden Horned Beast, must achieve very high accomplishments in the comprehension of upper laws in order to break into the immortal realm, which usually at least reaching the King Immortal level. Therefore, once they enter the immortal realm, relying on their vast numbers of immortal Zerg warriors, they possess nearly invincible combat power at King Immortal level and below, and are even qualified to contend with the lowest tier Universe Venerables. For example, King Jinyan, an invincible King Immortal, once fought a Universe Venerable head-on without a scratch. However, in episode 169, we see the immortal level Zerg Queen almost powerless against the attacks of Venerable Nine Swords. She even sacrificed many Zerg warriors to buy a slim chance to escape. Even if she managed to return to the Zerg homeland, her condition was greatly diminished, with combat strength falling to less than half of her peak. This clearly shows that Venerable Nine Swords' strength far surpasses that of a typical low-tier Universe Venerable, ranking at least as a very powerful mid-tier Universe Venerable, and possibly even reaching the high-tier Universe Venerable level. It is worth mentioning that Universe Venerables, by mastering the complete original law of space, can employ techniques such as spatial sealing, spatial strangulation, and teleportation, making it nearly impossible for peak King Immortals to retaliate. They can completely eliminate such opponents in a moment. However, relying solely on spatial methods to kill an invincible King Immortal is almost impossible. In fact, invincible King Immortals usually possess divine power strength at least 1,000,000 times that of a peak World Master, with the elite possibly reaching several million times that power. By comparison, an ordinary low-tier Universe Venerable's divine power is only about 10 million times a peak World Master's power. Although there is a gap, it is far from enough to achieve an overwhelming advantage. Therefore, the fact that Venerable Nine Swords, acting alone, was able to completely strip the immortal level Zerg Queen of her ability to resist and force her into a frantic retreat clearly shows that he is far beyond an ordinary low-tier Universe Venerable, with strength surpassing that level. More importantly, as the Zerg Queen fled, Venerable Nine Swords did not hesitate to pursue her. Remember, just as Luofeng's World Master level Zerg Queen, Irina, can produce millions of World Master level Zerg warriors, an Immortal level Zerg Queen should logically be able to produce millions of Immortal level Zerg warriors. If she knew escape was impossible and launched a final counterattack that causing millions of Immortal Zerg warriors to self-destruct simultaneously, the destructive power would be terrifying enough to severely injure or even kill a low-tier Universe Venerable. As the saying goes, do not pursue a desperate enemy. Without absolute power, who would dare chase such a fearsome foe? This demonstrates that Venerable Nine Swords' strength long surpasses that of an ordinary mid-tier Universe Venerable, being powerful enough to completely suppress opponents at the invincible King Immortal level in battle, denying them even the chance for a last-ditch self-destruction. In fact, Venerable Nine Swords' power has already reached the level of a high-tier Universe Venerable. Why do I say this? We can find clues from King Jinyan. As a warrior trapped at the invincible King Immortal level for billions of years, the moment King Jinyan successfully broke through to become a Universe Venerable, he immediately gained combat power comparable to a mid-tier Universe Venerable. In fact, immortal warriors like King Jinyan, trapped for billions of years at the invincible King Immortal level, often focus more on researching and creating secret arts compared to cultivators who concentrate on fusing the three great mysteries to form a complete original law of space. Because of this, when they break through, they often exceed normal standards, leaping to a strength above low-tier Universe Venerables. However, he bitterly laughs at himself because many Universe Venerables and even rulers of universe countries look down on his level of power, including Venerable Nine Swords. Instead, they place great importance on Luofeng, a prodigy who, though nominally only a King Immortal, possesses combat strength of a low-tier Universe Venerable. From this, we can infer that Venerable Nine Swords, who even makes King Jinyan feel the gap, is by no means an average mid-tier Universe Venerable. He must have stepped into the ranks of high-tier Universe Venerables. Of course, even among high-tier Universe Venerables, there are still differences in strength. Among them, Venerable Fire Erosion surpasses Venerable Nine Swords by a notch. This is why, when King Longyu intended to capture King Nightmare Candle, Venerable Fire Erosion openly disregarded Venerable Nine Swords' prestige and directly punished his subordinate. In this universe where strength reigns supreme, power is the foundation of pride and deterrence. In fact, like Luofeng, the Nine Swords Venerable is also a genius who rose to fame through the Pinnacle Geniuses battle. Billions of years ago, he shone brilliantly in the competition, his talent on par with Bolan's, astonishing all the major universe countries and ultimately winning the championship of that era. Venerable Fire Erosion, however, is even more dazzling. His talent rivals that of Kadi, and at his peak as a world master, he had the power to kill a marquee immortal. Relying on his cultivation talent, Venerable Fire Erosion broke through to immortal level within less than 10,000 years of cultivation, instantly acquiring the strength of a King Immortal, and within just a few 100,000 years, he became a Universe Venerable, which is truly a peerless prodigy. Now, after over 100 million years of cultivation, his strength has likely reached the stage of a fully accomplished high-tier Universe Venerable, making him a terrifying existence. It's worth mentioning that Venerable Fire Erosion once possessed a treasure coveted even by Universe Venerables, but instead of using it himself, he bestowed it upon his only beloved son, King Nightmare Candle. This is precisely the origin of the eye-shaped pattern on King Nightmare Candle's forehead, a visible mark formed by merging with that treasure. Logically, given King Nightmare Candle's strength, he should be powerless to defend himself before Universe Venerables. In this cruel, strength-dominant universe, killing to seize treasures is commonplace, especially when the treasure's power does not match that of its bearer. However, that treasure has remained safely in King Nightmare Candle's hands for tens of millions of years without anyone daring to seize it, which clearly shows how much Universe Venerables fear Venerable Fire Erosion. Of course, this is only part of the reason. If that treasure is truly a top-grade treasure like the pair of wings the primal Chaos City leader gifted to Luofeng, then no matter how much Venerable Fire Erosion is feared, it would be difficult to prevent someone from risking everything to take it. After all, the temptation of a supreme treasure is enough to drive all Universe Venerables and even Universe Overlords in the original universe to madness. As the strongest senior elder of the Golden Horn clan, although his combat power is slightly inferior to that of Venerable Nine Swords and Venerable Fire Erosion, his realm is nearly equivalent, which also reaches the level of a high-tier Universe Venerable. Are you curious about how Universe Venerables are classified into lower, middle, and higher tiers? In fact, this is exactly like the rank distinctions among King Immortals. The key lies in the degree of understanding of another upper original law. According to the setting in Swallowed Star, ordinary human world masters can only trigger their origin pearl to unleash power strong enough to break through the life core and ascend to immortal status by fully comprehending one lower original law. After breaking through to immortal, to advance to the King Immortal realm, one must deeply understand one upper original law and master one of its profound mysteries. Upon mastering 3 such mysteries, one can reach the peak or even the limit of the King Immortal level. To go further and step into the Universe Venerable level, one must fuse and comprehend the 3 profound mysteries, condensing a complete upper original law, thus achieving breakthrough. After becoming a Universe Venerable, unless one follows the path of divine power or the Beast God's way, the only path to ascend to the level of Universe Master is to fully comprehend another upper law to its perfect completion. For example, for Venerable Nine Swords and Venerable Fire Erosion, who are space-type Venerables, they must comprehend the original law of time to its utmost if they wish to break through and become Universe Masters. As for the senior elder of the Golden Horn clan, who could see through Luofeng's true age with just a single glance, clearly demonstrating his profound mastery over both the original law of space and the original law of time. After all, space-time is vast and hard to control. Without a deep understanding of both space and time, it would be impossible to perceive the trajectory of a life's lifespan merely through sensing. This shows that both space and original law of times are indispensable. Assuming the senior elder is also a spatial venerable, as a high-tier universe venerable, he would only need to fully fuse the three profound mysteries of the original law of time to break through in one step and enter the realm of universe master. Now, you might wonder, since the destruction beast possesses a peak bloodline and is favored by the original law of time, why doesn't he choose to possess the beast in order to leverage its talent and accelerate his comprehension of the law of time? Instead, he kept it imprisoned within the clan for a long time. The answer is simple: he cannot possess it. This is because, from the immortal stage onward, the advancement of life is no longer merely a leap in genetic level but a sublimation of the soul's essence. The advancement from planetary to world master level focuses on the evolution of life gene levels, while the breakthrough from world master to immortal is a leap in the soul's realm. Stronger beings above immortals have souls that have long exceeded the carrying capacity limits of lower life forms. If the senior elder forcibly tries to possess a world master level body, such as the destruction beast, no matter how noble its bloodline, it would inevitably be unable to withstand the soul shock of a universe venerable level and would ultimately explode and die. At the moment the soul possession is initiated, the caster's original divine body functions will automatically collapse, meaning they must find a physical body capable of carrying their soul within a short time, otherwise, their soul will quickly perish due to exposure to the universe laws. The only bodies suitable for carrying the soul of a universe venerable are those of the same level or even higher. However, once a cultivator breaks through to the immortal realm, they completely lose the possibility of being possessed. This is because at the moment one becomes immortal, the soul sublimates and fragments into a soul imprint, deeply embedded in every cell of the divine body. This means that any attempt to possess would destroy both the soul imprint and the cellular structure of the target body, effectively destroying the entire divine body. Therefore, possession can only happen before reaching immortal. Once immortal, the soul and divine body are fused, making possession impossible. From this, it's clear that to advance further in realm, the only path is through one's own deep comprehension of original laws. Moreover, regarding understanding of the original law of time, the destruction beast is far inferior to the senior elder. If it truly had such a high level of law comprehension, it would have long since used its bloodline to break through to immortal rather than stagnate at the world master level. In fact, being favored by the original law only means the original universe grants that life forms an advantage in cultivation speed, which is so-called cultivation aptitude, but it does not determine their ultimate potential. Those with high aptitude may progress to world master level at speeds several to dozens of times faster than normal in the early stages and even break through to world master level without bottlenecks. But this advantage only lasts early on. Whether one can break through to immortal and climb higher depends ultimately on cultivation talent, willpower, and law's comprehension. Take the space beasts as an example. Even with peak bloodlines, their growth path only guarantees they can smoothly reach world master level. To go further and enter immortal, they must truly possess extraordinary insight. Most space beasts lack this insight and remain trapped at world master, eventually exhausting their lifespan and dying. This accounts for over 90% of them. In contrast, geniuses like Venerable Fire Erosion reached King Immortal Realm in less than 10,000 years, a speed that crushes countless peak bloodline beings. Meanwhile, peak bloodline space beasts typically need at least 10,000 years via ordinary cultivation paths to barely reach world master level. The gap between the two is like night and day. Therefore, for someone like the senior elder whose comprehension has already reached the level of high-tier universe venerable, even if he is still a world master, the value of soul possessing the destruction beast is negligible. His comprehension of the laws has long surpassed any shortcut provided by bloodline or favored status. It is precisely for this reason that many exceptionally gifted world masters, even if they choose to perform soul possession, often value the target's physical size rather than so-called cultivation aptitude. After all, for them, the key to achieving greater heights in cultivation lies in their own comprehension of the laws but not in the starting point granted by bloodline. Before reaching the level of universe overlord, above the high-tier universe venerable but below the universe master, there exists a very mysterious realm. It is called mysterious because, like the limit King Immortal or invincible King Immortal stages, it is not a mandatory fixed phase one must pass through, but rather a true representation of the ultimate combat power limit. Take the limit King Immortal as an example. This is the peak combat strength a human can reach within the King Immortal tier. Ordinary immortal beings cannot shake those at this level. Therefore, when rumors spread that Luo Feng, still at the World Master stage, had the ability to kill a Limit King Immortal, nearly all powerhouses found it unbelievable because Luo Feng was merely a human. Luo Feng's ability to break this limit is due not only to his extremely powerful weapon but also to the formidable secret techniques he created himself. It's important to understand that inventing secret techniques at a lower realm that can rival the destructive power of higher realms is nearly impossible, with only a few able to achieve it. Thus, most who step into the Universe Overlord level beyond high-tier venerables are closely connected to their mastery of amplitude secret techniques. For example, the renowned Shi Luo duo created the Beast God 7 Kills, which allowed him to dominate billions of races and become a truly invincible existence just below the Universe Master. This secret technique can amplify base power up to 64 times the normal human limit, and its 7th level theoretically rivals a true Beast God, making one's combat power nearly on par with a Universe Master. Unfortunately, until his demise, Shi Luo duo only completed up to the 6th level. The Venerable Guai, who once cultivated the Beast God 7 Kills, likely possesses real strength far surpassing even Venerable Fire Erosion. However, because he long served the Primal Chaos City leader, his true power remains a mystery. Even so, we can infer his strength from the details. As a cultivator of Beast God 7 Kills, Venerable Guai had in fact successfully comprehended up to the 4th chapter of the secret technique. But because the difficulty of subsequent cultivation increased sharply, he ultimately had to give up and instead took the more conventional Universe Venerable path, choosing to fully comprehend 2 higher original laws to break into the Universe Master realm. Even so, this made him far stronger than an ordinary high-tier Universe Venerable. Don't forget, Luo Feng had only cultivated the 1st chapter of Beast God transformation, yet it already doubled his base power through extreme amplification. In contrast, Venerable Guai, who had reached the 4th chapter, could achieve an extreme amplification of up to 16 times. So, although his strength hasn't reached the top Universe Overlord tier, it is still entirely possible he wields the power of an average Universe Overlord. This explains why even a slight display of his power emits immense intimidation. Since this video contains a lot of content, to ensure thorough and clear explanation, I have divided the character strength analysis into 2 parts. We have finished the first part, and the second part will continue to analyze other powerful characters. Stay tuned! Well, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching this video. Wish you a wonderful day.